Everyone says you need a budget, but then you tried it and it doesn't work? What's the deal? Well, there's some hiccups you might face when you start budgeting, and the more you know now, the better you'll be prepared. In this video, I'm gonna give you 6 reasons why your budget isn't working for you today. And we're gonna get into that right now. Hello there, I'm Caleb. If this is your first time here and you want to learn how to improve your finances and master your budget, then start now by hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on anything. I've been budgeting successfully with my wife Bailey for 4 years now. I'm a numbers person and budgeting can be hard sometimes. Oh man, Caleb, you're a killer salesman for these budgets. Alright, let me get to the pitch. The truth is budgeting can be hard, especially when you start out. And there are 6 things in particular that I think will cause people to quit budgeting if they don't realize they're doing them. If you can get past these, then you're well on your way to mastering your budget and improving your finances and your future. Reasons your budget isn't working for you. Number 1, you don't track expenses. If you have a budget but don't track expenses, it's like an Olympic runner never looking at their time when they train. It's only by looking at their time that they know if and how they need to improve. I'm filming during the Olympic opening ceremony and I'm pretty proud of that analogy. You have to look at the numbers of your budget to figure out how to improve your budget. If you're tracking expenses and you find that you spend way too much on chocolate milk, then you know where to improve. That's a poor example. Too much chocolate milk isn't a thing. You get my point though. Number 2, you don't stick to your budgeting categories. This is completely different than not tracking your expenses. You can totally track expenses without sticking to a budget. I've done it before, where I just keep putting expenses into our grocery budget without that actually affecting our grocery spending for that month. Tracking expenses is important, but that's only half of it. You've got to stick to your categories. Number 3, you don't let your budget flex and evolve with you. Flex is short term, evolve is long term. Let's start with flex. Allowing your budget to flex and evolve with you is how you keep from going insane with your finances. For one, every month is different. Some months our grocery budget is higher than it should be for 2 people. But you know, if you're bringing food to July 4th parties, then that might be the case. What I mentioned in a recent video is that you need to have a real-time budget. That is one that flexes as your month flexes. In the case of groceries, Bailey and I have had to mid-month add extra to that category because we knew that we would go over. Then we take that money from another category to balance it out. Zero-based budgeting, y'all. Along those same lines, if you don't let your budget evolve, you're gonna lose your ever-loving mind. My friend Nate Palmatier here on YouTube outlines on his channel how he and his wife budget for that size of a family. Can you imagine if Nate didn't allow his budget to evolve every time they had a new addition to their family? By the way, you can check out his channel right here. Even with Bailey and I, our budget has changed a lot in the last 4 years. For one, our grocery budget has changed because we eat less frozen pizza and mac and cheese than we did 4 years ago. Guess what? You get to learn about my subconscious today with how many food and grocery related examples I have. Number 4, you don't hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm. Alright, that's a joke. Number 4, your budget is not zero-based. One reason your budget may not be working for you is if your budget's income does not equal or exceed your budget's expenses. In other words, you run out of time before you can cover everything. Now, I don't in the least deny the fact that many people are in horribly difficult situations where they have very little control over their expenses. But please understand that if you're in that situation where your expenses exceed your income, then the budget is like your best friend in your life that tells you a bunch of hard truths. It'll tell you that your expenses need to be reduced. It'll tell you that you're spending too much on unnecessary things. It'll tell you that you need to increase your income. Whatever the issue is, it'll tell you that your expenses and your income need to equal. Otherwise, you'll be digging yourself into a hole that'll be very difficult to climb out of. Number 5, you don't make your budget ahead of time. It's a simple one, and yet it'll bite you. If you don't make a money plan for your month ahead of time, it's less likely that you're gonna be financially successful in your goals. Make a budget ahead of the month and talk it over with your spouse if you're married. When you're on the same page and you've planned ahead, you're setting yourself up for success. Now, before we get into number 6, you know we gotta thank our sponsor, roller coasters. Living within Central Ohio, we're easily within driving distance of the state's premier amusement park, Cedar Point. I'm gonna be honest, the first time that I rode an actual roller coaster was after Bailey and I got married. Not a fan. But Bailey was a fan and I love her and she drugged me there, so we went. Utterly and horrifically terrifying. I'm not blowing this out of proportion either. I seriously experienced a lot of stress that day. But since then, I've really loved to learn roller coasters. At least that's what Bailey tells me. We're going to Cedar Point tomorrow and I'm actually pretty excited. Number 6, you haven't given it enough time. On average, people take about 90 days to get used to a budget. If you don't give yourself enough time to refine your budget, then it's not gonna work for you. The first month is a little rough because you might not know how to track your expenses or control your spending. Second month, you've learned from your mistakes and tracking expenses becomes a little bit easier. The habit's starting to set in. Month 3, you understand your spending averages in each category and how to plan effectively. For some, it'll take longer than others, but please give yourself at least 90 days. Okay, so this video might seem a little negative because it just focuses on what you don't do. But that doesn't mean that you can't. I want you to know that it's absolutely possible, even for those who don't consider themselves numbers people. Just don't give up. Find someone who's good with their money and ask them to help you. It takes some humility, but it's worth it. And if you want help from me, then hit me up in the comments down below. Also, let me know what your favorite roller coaster is and where it's located. If this video was valuable in any way, then give it a like because that really helps my channel, and hit the subscribe button and notification bell. And remember, money doesn't have to be confusing. You can control it. If you want to watch my most recent video, you can check that out up here. And if you want to watch my playlist on budgeting tips, then you can watch that down here.